The Adventures in the... Let's see. Bring that. Do I want to... What do I want? There we go. That's now crooked. No, no. I'll do that. Hi. Okay. Today, a while ago, I did a survey, kind of wanting to know how other people thought when they died what would happen, according to their beliefs, their religions, their train of thought. And because I'm a Christian and I believe biblically, uh, once you die, you go to heaven or hell. That's what I believe. That's what I believe to be the truth. That's, um, if you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, then you become a child of God, and it is appointed unto us once to die. And so, I still have my cold. It's only been 3 weeks. But, so I'm just, excuse me. So after I got done asking people this question and they're giving me their opinions and their beliefs and what they think, I noticed that as a running theme, when Christians have near-death experiences and they go back, they go to heaven or they go to hell, and they come back, if they go to hell, they're terrified and they know Jesus saved them. If they go to heaven and God tells them or Jesus tells them to go home, they they have a really hard time explaining heaven, but they know that it's a place full of love, just absolute. You cannot explain that kind of love. They come back with they're peaceful, they're rested, they were greeted by Jesus or by family members, but there was such a calm, awesome love, just filtered through everything. Absolute joy, peace. They knew where they were. They knew they were in heaven. Some people met Jesus and got to talk to him, and it was just radiant, all cell encompassing love, acceptance, joy, peace, contentment. Just, that was it. It's undescribable, absolute joy and love. Love, 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 love. They were loved. They knew they were loved. They felt loved. They experienced this kind of love. Bright lights, no lights. It just permeates. God says, I am love. When I was in Mongolia, I experienced that touch of love that I never, it's indescribable. It's just indescribable. I reached out my hand to this little boy, and it was the most shocking, love-filled thing I had ever felt, ever. It doesn't compare to I love my dog, I love my husband, I love my kids. It doesn't, I love food. It doesn't compare to anything like that. It is so all consuming, all feeling, all it's like people who go to heaven and come back. They can't describe it. But and but the reason why I mention the Christian viewpoint is because when I asked other people of other denominations who knew of people or had experienced it or had read about it or what they believed in or whatever, not one of the other religions, um, one that got me was someone who had been a Buddhist or was a Buddhist or I don't know, Buddhist. And they went to where Buddhists go. And she said that Buddha, they recognized Buddha, and Buddha was talking to somebody, but Buddha didn't acknowledge them, didn't welcome them, didn't show that they even existed. They went around wherever, to spy out the land or whatever. There was no love, there was no peace, there was no comfort, there was no welcoming, they were just there, walking around in Buddha land. And then other people who have no religion per se or have shunned Christian the Christian philosophy, it's not even, anyway, it doesn't matter. They're not religious at all. They're not anything. And they're not really atheists because they believe in a higher power of some kind. But they just had heard that when they die, because they don't believe in the natural in heaven and hell, that they just die. There's just nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's just nothing. I don't know if it's a black nothing or a white nothing but there's nothing. There's no sound, there's no welcoming, it's just nothing. It's just a vacuum of nothing. Mm. And then people who believe that you're going to be reincarnated, the stories that I heard there was once you got to the reincarnated place, that you could choose what you want to come back as, whether it be a snail or a frog or a rat or whatever the highest level is, a cow. But you never. There was no love. There was no peace. You just sort of wandered around and had your choice of what do you want to be reincarnated into next. It was like it was you still had a choice. You still had a choice. And biblically, you make the choice here on earth. You accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior and all the benefits. There's a lot of benefits to being a Christian that a lot of people don't know about. Biblically, there's a lot of benefits outside of the fire insurance where you don't go to hell, which is a big benefit. But all the other things people talked about, there was no love, there was no peace, there was no friendships, there was no joy. It was like you still had the choice, even after you were dead, whether you wanted to continue on in another form or another shape, or like biblically, you die, every knee shall bow, and every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. Biblically, that's it. Um, I don't, when I was growing up, I was raised Catholic, but I went to a Methodist church. And then when you got out of the house, you met Hare Krishnas and Buddhists and um, um, Moonies. Um, um, then I mean, it was like I was exposed to all these different religions. So it's not like I don't know. Mormons, Lutherans are Catholic enough. Um, and none of them sit quite right with me. And it it wasn't because I was raised Catholic, because I knew Catholicism when at a really early age was not for me either. Um, so that had nothing, that shapes you into knowing about God and knowing about Jesus. But there was a lot of stuff that I questioned that didn't sit right with me, but you do what the family does, so you do what the family does, and until you're old enough to move on. And then once I did, I got exposed to all the religions of the world, not all of them, but enough, and it was like none of them just set right. There's it just some of them just like really, really. Hmm. And yet other people just walk right in and say, yeah, this is for me. I don't know. But anyway, the big thing, back to people dying and coming back, and the little unscientific survey that I did, was that only Christians who had died and gone to heaven experienced, or non-Christians who the Lord introduced himself to, um, were the only ones who experienced pure joy, pure happiness, pure contentment, pure acceptance, um, uh, who were greeted and loved on, and um, we're so glad you're here and welcome, and you gotta meet so and so, and I mean, there's various different people um, that apparently you meet, and they talk to you, but absolute pure, unfiltered love and acceptance. And the other people who were not Christians, and saying they're not Christians, saying they're Buddhists or Hindu or Viking, whatever those people are, atheists, when they went to wherever their belief system says. Um, None of them, not a one of them, said anything about meeting their God, meeting anybody who absolutely loved them. They didn't feel any love, no peace, no contentment. It was like they were just as confused in their heaven, for a better word, uh, than they were here on earth. They still believed they still had choices, and they when they came back, nothing had changed in their lives. Nothing made a difference. They did not um, continue to be better Hindus or Buddhists, or they just came back and went on with. But Christian people, they come back and they're just like, oh my God, heaven is a wonderful place. I met Jesus and I was so loved and I didn't want to come back, and but God said I had to, and I'm here and I'm making a difference, and total 360-degree turnaround, and what they want to do with their lives and where they want to go and what they want to live for the Lord, and they want to tell other people that Jesus is just everything: love, peace, joy, contentment, but joy and love. Just love, 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 love. Um, anyway, that's what I talked about today. And if anything gets you thinking along those same lines of what happens when I go, you know, just let you know that Jesus is real, heaven and hell are real. The love of God is more than anybody can really comprehend on this earth. Trust me. Just for those few fleeting seconds, that made a difference in my life of experiencing that love. I didn't die. I was actually right there, just reaching my hand out to this small child, and boy, did I feel it, know it, sense it, experience it. It was awesome. But I'll let you go. This is Diana with Adventures in the Making. You have a wonderful day. And if you're curious, talk to Jesus. Say, hey, Lord, you're real. Let's have a little sit down and let's talk about these things. And let's see how your life goes from there. Anyway, we'll talk to you later. You have a wonderful day and a wonderful life. And see you on the upside. Bye bye.